Hello, it's Miss Frida, and welcome to Maddie Rose Friday Morning Art Studios. Hello, welcome. It's good to have you here, and it's nice to meet you all. So, today's project is going to be a little different compared to the last two Friday Morning Art Studio projects. This one's going to be a completely digital one, and it is a self portrait, a digital self portrait. And all you're going to need today is your cellular device, either an iPhone, an Android, we don't discriminate here, or an iPad. And all you're going to need is like a couple apps, and that's about it. And I'm going to walk you through the whole process. It's super simple, super easy, and super fun. I know we all take selfies in our day-to-day life. I know I do because we're big on self-love here. So all you have to do is like scroll through your camera roll, find your favorite selfie, or take the perfect selfie right now. And then we're gonna digitalize it and make it so beautiful and add so many things to it that represent you, and it's gonna be beautiful. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are ready. This is one of my favorite projects. I recently did it with some of my students, and I could insert some examples so you have them. But no, yeah, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started. This is my home screen. I will be using an iPad today, but you can use an iPhone or Android or an iPad. And I know the apps we will be using, which is Photoshop Mix and Visco. They are available on Android devices, so anyone can do this project. Like I said, no discriminating here. And then the other thing we'll be using is Safari. So you can use Safari, Google, whatever web browser you prefer. And that's about it. Alright, so the first step you need to do is pick out your favorite selfie of yourself. So I already have mine selected, and I already created a whole album for an example. So I titled it Self Portrait, and I have everything that I want to use so far that I have found, and I have all added it to this album. And I picked my favorite selfie. This is one I recently took, and we're going to be using this one, just plain and simple. And I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, so I kind of want to embody my being and where I come from, things that represent me. And this is what this project is mainly about, is creating a self-portrait and adding symbols and images that represent you, how you see yourself, how your family and friends see you, and how your community sees you. So think about those different things. So far I kind of have an idea. So I want the moon, because the moon represents my emotions, and I feel like my life is like a cycle, like all the phases the moon goes through. I feel like we all have that, and I resonate deeply with the moon. Cactuses, because they remind me of my homeland, which is Mexico. So I have cactuses because they're just majestic creatures and beings, and I've only been to the desert a couple of times, but it's such a magical experience. Here I have a maguey plant, which is it's agave, and it is what they make tequila out of. And I chose this plant because I've always heard about the maguey goddess, and she was very beautiful and majestic. So here I have the sun, and I think this is my favorite one because it kind of just a different shade of orange and yellow, and kind of reminds me of like an aura. So that's kind of my idea, kind of giving you an example, like my thought process. And now let's go to Safari. So like I said, you could use Safari. We'll be using Google as our search engine. First thing I should have mentioned is that we're going to be using PNG. We only want the object itself. So I just want the cactus. I don't want anything else. And so these are all PNGs. There's the image, and then behind it is a transparent layer. This one's not a PNG, but I will show you in Photoshop Mix how to make it a PNG and how to cut it out. One website that I found very helpful was favepng.com. So every time you use Google in your search image, you're always going to add PNG at the end. And here I have all these options, and you just click through them and pick your favorite one. That one's pretty small, so I don't think I want that. Now we could go into Photoshop Mix and get started with our project. So I'm going to add my self-portrait. That's the first layer that we're going to do. And I already have a plain white background, so it's going to be pretty easy to cut it out. So these are all the layers down here. So we have adjust, we have looks, which are filters. The main thing we're going to be using is the cutouts. So as you see, we have this like transparent background, and what we're going to be doing is cutting ourselves out. Alright, so we could do auto, but it doesn't always guarantee you the perfect cutout. As you see, we have this like edges that aren't perfect. We have some in my hair because my hair is all wild and I always have flyaways. No me peino. Sorry, mom. But here, look, we have perfect. It's perfect. We have some edges. And we could fix that. Do the auto way, and then let's just clean it up ourselves. So it's fast and easy. So auto is going to be your best friend if you have a plain background. And if not, you could easily go back and fix it yourself. And you really want to get in there, so the zoom feature is going to be your best friend, because you could really get in there and get as close to the edge as possible. If you really want it to be perfect, you could zoom in and look at all those pixels and get it. But I don't really want it to be that perfect, you know. We're all a little rough around the edges, so it kind of represents who I am. So here we can see some of the transparency got into our shoulders. And I'm using the brush tool, remember. I want the eraser tool because I see some white background. So I want to erase that. I don't want that. So this is very time consuming, but I find it relaxing. I don't know, you're just really focusing on getting it as perfect as you can, and for some reason it's relaxing to me. You can play some music in the background, watch a movie. I think it's looking good so far. Right now you could see that it's only me, and you could see the background is just all transparent, and that's what we want. And so we're gonna hit this check mark here and see how it looks. So now you can move yourself around and it's only you. That's crazy. So this is our first layer, and I think you could name your layers. So we can name it Frida because it's me. And now to add a layer, we just hit the plus sign. You could either add an image, text, or color. I'm going to be adding color because I want my background already, and I think I'm going for this green. But you have the picker, do themes, and I'm going to pick this color, this green color right here. Hit done. So I want this color layer to go below me, so behind me. Having a colored background in the back helps you see all the different things that you missed. So here we see some of the white background around the edges, and I want to fix that. So we go to cutouts and really get in there. It's looking pretty good. I still see some white spots again. So just having to go back, and that's okay. Okay, so I think I'm happy. 2 layers. Now, right now you could just play around with it and just like see where you want it, but we don't really have much, so I could want to keep adding layers. So remember, we hit the plus sign, image, we're in the self-portrait, and like I said, I think I want the sun and this is a perfect PNG. We don't have to do anything to it. So I kind of want this below me, so we're gonna drag the layer. Remember, you just press and drag it under you. Now it's under you. You can play around with it, make it bigger, smaller. Looks like I'm right in front of the sunshine. So to delete a layer, you just press on the layer and then delete it. Just as simple. You could also duplicate layers. So press on the layer and duplicate yourself, and there could be 2 Fridas. Well, let's add a layer. Now I kind of want to play around with either of the plants. Agave. And I like this one. It says resize canvas. I don't want to do that. And I think this is perfect. I think I like this one. Unfortunately, it's not a PNG, so we're gonna have to do it ourselves, which is totally fine. So we're gonna do cutouts, then auto. We're just gonna go in and cut it out ourselves. And like I already said, oops, I already showed you how, and this one's gonna take a while, unfortunately, but this is what I want to use, and it's gonna take up some time. That's okay. I will come back and we will continue with this. But take this time to really get in there. Take this time to relax, to follow the line, just kind of like if you're coloring. Alright, so this is what I have so far. I've just been adding layers and erasing and brushing and cutting out, and this is what I have. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I might just add one more layer and then I'll be done, but I feel like there's something missing below me right here, because you could just see the straight cut off edge of my body. But this is what I have so far, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. On the layer of myself, I went over to looks, which is the filters, and I added the foam filter. I just liked how it looked. But there's so many to choose from, and this one's just my favorite one for the image that I have. You just hit the check mark and then there you go. So Photoshop Mix, the free version, only gives you a limit of 10 layers, and I'm at my limit right now, so there's no plus sign where I could add more layers. So what you're gonna have to do is save it to your camera roll and then make a whole new composition. So hit the plus image, and then we have our image right here. So you can't do anything to this picture because all the layers are already compressed and finalized. So what I'm going to do is keep adding layers. I think I'm going to add 2 more and then I'll be done with my project. So I'm going to add the moon, the full moon, right in the middle, because it will complete all the phases. And like I said, I wanted the phases because they represent all the phases of my life, all the cycles that I go through. And like I said, I resonate deeply with the moon. The moon represents our emotions. And let's see, I want to add something else. I'm not sure what though. I saved a couple images. So I saved some marigolds earlier, which I might add along the bottom of myself. I still don't know yet. Okay, so I did decide on the marigolds, and right now what I'm doing is duplicating them like I showed you before, and I think I will hit my layer limit, which is totally fine because this is all that I need to do. So here I am adjusting them and playing around with them. You could go ham. Okay, so all that I'm going to be doing for the rest of the video and for the rest of the project is just adjusting them until I get them to how I want them to look, and then I will be done. So here's the whole process. Okay, so this is my final product. This is what I came up with. We have the moon phases in the back. We have the sun, the maguey, the agave. We have me, myself, and I, Frida. And then we have the marigolds, the cempasúchil. And this is what I came up with. Alright, so one of the last steps is to save your image. So we're going to save to camera roll. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our image to Visco. And this is an editing app that provides tons of filters for your images. So we're just going to upload our image to our gallery. So upload, and then you could select from all the filters. So experiment, see which one you like, which one looks best with your image. You could do something colorful, you could do black and white, and these are all your options. Okay, so I myself decided not to use a filter, but you go right ahead. Maybe I'll change my mind later on, but for now this is what I came up with. So I want to thank you for tuning into Maddie Rhodes Friday Morning Art Studios. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing your creations. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.